I know you're a deep psychological person. I definitely feel like you're the right person to talk to about some of this stuff. And one of those words that kept popping up was self-aware, being self-aware, self-awareness. So what do you like? What are the benefits, if you want to start there, of being self-aware?
Okay, so I mean, self-awareness, it's really like I started to become more self-aware because I had to. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of an awakening within the self wanting to, I don't know, be more internally self-aware in the sense that anxiety, things like of that nature, when life hits you hard or
Be hitting me, whoop my ass.
literally, right? Like it's something, I don't know. There's certain, when you get older, a lot of your trauma starts to come out more, like things that you experienced and you can't shove it down anymore. So when that started to happen to me, because it started with me being, no pun intended, late to everything.
Yeah.
Like
She was late today.
I had a good reason, all right.
Yeah, she had a great reason.
I was like lost.
Where's the house?
But no, so where's I going with that?
You relate to everything, self-awareness.
Okay, so procrastinating.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a trauma response to certain things. Like it's there's a lot that goes into it. But it's basically being self-aware for the fact that other people, if you want other people to be, nice around you, you want other people to feel like they can be themselves around you. You want people to feel like you can hold space for them, or you want to show up as your best self. Being self-aware is the best thing to practice. And it takes time and it doesn't happen overnight. It's pretty much a never-ending journey of self-evolution in a sense. But yeah, I feel like people don't really know how to start being self-aware, or they just think it's something that you like put on the calendar to do.
Yeah.
And
Thursday, I'm gonna be self-aware.
Yeah, like you can't really do that. It's to, again, figure out what works for you, what speaks to you. You have to learn how to become intuitive with yourself. So not like the implicit bias thing. You become more aware of what was instilled in you as a child and kind of keeping those things out in the open. And it's up to you to either stick with like what you know and what was instilled in you and how you were conditioned, or you can become a little more open-minded and have the ability to self-reflect and pause and emotionally regulate. And then you can show up to all different, like you can show up for all different types of people, like in all different types of situations, and have the ability to not only have control over yourself. And I mean, sometimes we all lose our shit. It happens, like, but
for sure.
As an adult, well, we can't throw temper tantrums anymore.
No, it's not. It's actually frowned upon. I'm just gonna slide this table over real quick. I'm gonna take a slide in real quick. If you want to just slide in a little bit,
we can't like throw temper tantrums anymore as adults, and I mean we can, but we just need to know when they are coming on. Basically, so like when you're overwhelmed, when a panic attack's coming on, because with this new job, I've had to socialize a lot more.
Talked about that.
And it, like with me, I'm very hypersensitive. Noises, like I can deal, but I have to, be more in tune with myself and aware and intentional with how I go throughout my day and like not basically dissociate like a lot of us are conditioned to do because life is too much.
Yeah.
When you get in the practice of, and you figure out some type of practice for yourself involving mindfulness, you just start to wake up a little more and things aren't as blurry, and you're able to determine like, oh, I think that was conditioned in me. I'm seeing a pattern here. And just because it's not the same as somebody else doesn't mean that like it's right or wrong. And I don't really have the right to judge whether it's right or wrong, but it is what it is. So that's why like your body language, the words that you say, they matter in terms of being self-aware externally. So it's just like,
ask you about that.
That's, there's both sides, like a yin and a yang. And I mean, like, that's why this is so random, but like my Instagram name is Sam Fox Flow. It's not really because
What
of
is
yoga.
that?
It's
Yeah.
really like, it's kind of like a mind F in a sense, because people are probably like, oh, well, if she like teaches all this yoga, well, Sam Fox Flow makes sense. But so a friend like a long time ago would always say flow with the go. Like flow with the go. And so it's kind of like a flow with the ebb and flow of like all things. So that's kind of where that came from. And it kind of ties into that, really.
I was wondering what that meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
You
like,
had a hot flow after you were just rapping. So
yeah, I mean, we could. Yeah, multifaceted.
that's what all.
Know it. But yeah, so I guess I could start by saying if you want to become more self-aware,
Yeah. Like, how can people be more mindful and self-aware? Yeah.
well, in the morning when you wake up, there's just simple little things, and some people may like it, some people may not. You can do your research and see, like literally look up mindfulness habits and or mindfulness techniques and see what speaks to you. But for me personally, journaling does not really work for me. That is something that helps people. There are mindfulness journals where it's like a tiny little passage and then you can write something, or there's mindfulness journals in the sense of where you write something you're grateful for. It's a very broad thing, but some deep breathing in the morning when you wake up, like 4-7-8 types of breathing, which is triangle breathing, sitting and just meditating on affirmations, like me.
Like
what
affirmations.
I do. Yeah, affirmations. You can sit and say affirmations and just be present with them, or you just kind of do what mindfulness practice would speak to you as you go about that journey. So, cold shower. I mean, that
It's real.
it may not sound like it ties into mindfulness, but you're making the choice if you do
Conscious
in
choice.
the morning, like the conscious choice to basically get in a shower, and I'll turn it on warm and then I'll switch that bad boy to freezing cold, and it forces me to take deep belly breathing breaths.
yeah.
And that's why I do it. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it for my muscles. I'm not doing it.
Do it for the mental.
I'm not doing it because I'm like, oh, I just want to like screw myself.
I'm a
this morning.
badass. Cold showers.
No, I'm
Yeah.
doing it to level out my cortisol levels so
Yeah.
I can emotionally regulate myself that day.
I used to take cold showers from the pandemic because it was so much to kind of like wrap my head around.
Yeah, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Like you need something to stop the noise.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
But we can't also ignore the noise sometimes. So
Yep.
it's like being mindful of little triggers that come in, like senses on your body, smells, things like if it starts to get noisy, you take a second and then that's where your mindfulness, like a TIPS skill, like DBT skills, so dialectical behavioral skills, like splashing cold water on your face.
Yeah.
People say like, eat something like a sour head or whatever those real sour, like
Yeah.
the warheads.
The warheads.
Like,
Yeah.
I haven't tried that personally, but if that's,
I'm good on that. I think I
you want
would
to make your senses feel like they're on crack,
go for it.
go for it. But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of things that you can do to be mindful. So just try things and don't be discouraged, because if you're trying to figure out your intuitive self, you're not gonna, it's in the like society that we're in, we're not really able to make decisions even as a child. We are
No.
told what is right, what decisions to make.
Like social norms.
Yeah, like we're put into a public system, majority of us.
Yeah.
Like some go to private school, but at the same time, we're still kind of told what to do. Like even if something as simple as like, what do you actually want to learn about?
Yeah.
Like in public school, which like just having the ability to make a choice.
You know what they yeah.
So
Well, I think that's a good segue too with the social norms thing to talk about like the judgment aspect. If you wanted to rap about that.
okay. Well, so I mean, social norms obviously it's like the unwritten language
Yeah.
of what's okay and what's not okay in society, whether it's the law,
Yeah.
whether it's like something as simple as manners,
Yeah.
or whatever is on trend, I guess, or behaviors that
Yeah.
people are, I guess, either fixating on in that moment, or they are, what's the word? Basically, like, it's on the come up, and like it's starting to become more
More normalized. Yeah.
yes, in a sense. So
Yeah.
there's all different like facets that come in when it comes to social norms, but really, it also has to do with implicit bias. So
Explain that real quick.
implicit bias is basically like your unconscious like perception, like the values, the beliefs, like what you see that you from experience, like it's kind of like your experience bubble, like your
Okay.
lens of experience, because your implicit bias basically is like what was instilled in you, what you were conditioned like to believe as a child, things you heard, places you were physically in, food that you ate, like just pretty much anything that you were exposed to that has formed your lens of how you look at anything, how you perceive anything. And a lot of us, we like naturally just judge and have this like feeling, thought, our body may do something toward it, like whether it's
Make a face.
like a face, like whether you smile, like whether it
Yeah.
makes you happy or makes you like what? Like, oh, that's
Ew.
weird. Like, are
Yeah.
you for real?
Are you dead ass?
Right? But so I just kind of think that becoming more aware of this implicit bias. So it's not like someone else is trying to tell you to do that either. I'm not trying to tell anybody like you all should stop judging. I mean, it's just like, again, falling in with having morals, like of being an
ethical
open-minded person, because like when you are more open-minded, when you practice gratitude, when you practice mindfulness, when you give yourself, because you are giving yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice, honestly,
Correct.
if you are okay only thinking one way and not being open-minded to the rest of the world, because it's like, what does the rest of the world owe you, honestly? So it's just like judging somebody, if it's not harming it, if it's not harming you, it's not harming somebody else, and they are not asking you for advice, or, you know, if you're just a lot of the judgment and implicit bias and just judging people overall or judging things overall is because they weren't exposed to it.
Yep.
And that's why I submerse myself. I literally put myself in things that I'm like, I don't know what the heck this is.
Same.
And I, you know what? Like, that's why I'm so like, I have so many different friend groups, and
Same.
I am involved. Like, I have like 70-year-old friends, literally.
Yeah.
And then I have like 20-year-old friends, and I have 30-year-old friends and 45-year-old friends.
I think, and not to cut you off, I think
No.
the thing for me was doing just that. When I was younger, I didn't know. We use an example. I didn't know any gay people. I didn't know any lesbians, and it was something that was just I just didn't know anything about, and I made sure of it that when I met these people that I would like. Not for the sense of like, oh, you're a science experiment or anything weird like that, but I was like, I want to know more about you. Like, you know what I mean? Because I already know as much as I can know about like straight men. You know what I mean? Like, because I am one, you know what I mean?
is you.
But I'm like, I want to find out more about your world and like things that you go through. And I think because of that, being so open to learn and open-minded different lifestyles, I've learned so much about so many different people, so many walks of life. And that's why I have so many friends. And I also that's why I can go in a room with whoever and I'll feel comfortable because like we'll have rapport. We'll be able to talk about things. We'll be able to relate. And it's like there's no judgment there. And vice versa. I wouldn't want anyone to judge me because of these like the fucking tattoos on my arm or something like that. So
yeah, and that's what I mean. It's just like people are nervous to go into things that is the unknown. That's just like an obvious.
Fear of the
Unless you're
unknown.
like, yeah, like, but at the same time, it's just like fear is also a liar. So it's just if you were okay not knowing something, like, I mean, when my grandma's watching the news and I turn a blind eye because I don't want to watch the news,
is
but
pretty
I want to give her
depressing,
what she wants.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think that's like I get a pass there.
Yeah, you do.
But
We'll give you a pass.
yeah, but it's just like if you are okay not being exposed to the things that you weren't exposed to, if you're not curious, it's just like, what are you doing here? And it's not like I'm saying, I don't want anyone here.
Like,
I just feel like we all could like, I'm not saying we're all going to get along and everything.
We all learn a thing or two though.
Me putting myself like getting to know the elderly and doing this nonprofit the last like 4.5 years has opened my eyes and has helped my relationship with my grandmother in so many ways. And like, it helps me understand why things are the way they are. And I also have an appreciation for all different types of cultures and all different types of people because there's beauty, all of it. And it's just like, why should anything be put on like in a category? It's just like, if it resonates with you or if it doesn't, why? Like, you should probably question that. Or like, if you don't know something or you don't understand somebody's way of being, it's just like, you can question that in a respectful manner, but it's just like, be curious. And it just makes you a more well-rounded person. And then you start to just your confidence also goes up because you're learning that you have the ability to reach people or connect with people in all different aspects. And it's just like with the special needs realm, like with my little sister being special needs, that's where my love for helping the special needs realm came from, because what's crazy is a lot of us are misunderstood. Like, we all feel like nobody hears us. We feel like people talk and talk and talk, and they have their narrative in their mind. And a lot of us have started to want to listen and actually hear what people have to say. But at majority of the time, it's just like, we feel as humans on the other end, nobody's even hearing what we have to say, or as a child we were silenced. So it's like, now and even I do this sometimes, I still have to catch myself when I interrupt somebody because I was silenced as a child. Nobody listened to me and I knew what I was talking about. And that's why the kids act up now too. These kids are very smart. They know what they're talking about.
They're smarter than us.
They know when we're full of crap. It's just like, so why not, hear
them out.
Yeah, like with the special needs, a lot of people, they're like, but I don't know how to connect with them. What do I say? What if what if they're too touchy, but okay, what if they are? It's just, you try, like, you may not know what to say to people. You may not know how to act. You may not know what to do. But if you are curious and you're an open person and you're not judging anybody based on who they are, if they're not crossing a boundary or hurting somebody or, rubbing you the wrong way, then just like kind of go with the flow with the go, and you learn to adapt to other people, and then you connect with them more, and you actually realize that even though you're all so different, you still all have something in common somewhere. And then it's just learning how to be perceptive and like listen to people in their language at the same time.
So you think mindfulness and being perceptive, that are those ways you think people can catch themselves when they're like judging someone or in judgment?
Yeah, like for sure. I mean, like catching someone in judgment. So what's an example I could use? I try to tell myself not to flip anybody off when I'm driving.
That's a very specific thing you just
brought. No, that's what I hear. So it's just like, there's been times where I have like had a bad day and I couldn't get myself regulated enough in the moment to where someone cut me off in traffic. And I got so mad that I just, put up the bird and started going off and da-da-da. And it's just like, that's not something that I want to do. That's not something that makes me feel good. Like, once I got older, I started to recognize the ick, like, in myself.
Yes.
Like, a few years ago. Like,
Same.
So it's just like, and then when I would hold open the door for somebody, and sometimes people are in their own little world. Sometimes people got stuff going on. And it's just like, crap, I didn't thank you to me. Like, it's just like, just do something because you want to do it. And then nothing else around that has to be like recognized.
Nothing has to come from it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's manners. They are nice. They are appreciated. It would be nice if it's preferred, you know what I mean? But again, sometimes people are so lost in the sauce and they are having a day that in that moment, give somebody else grace at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, like not judging yourself and not judging others and leaving things kind of up in the air and taking a second before you put a judgment on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that takes a minute to learn how to do, but it's possible.
It is.
So it's just like, you can't, if you have a moment of weakness, just, recognize that, give yourself a minute, and then you move on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're humans. It's nothing ever. Any type of change is not easy.
No.
It can actually be very painful,
Yes.
but it still is like worth it in the end.
We're human. So let's talk about, I guess, the other side of that coin, not judging others. How about judging ourselves?
Yeah. So judgment with the self is honestly like the most toxic thing that I think any of us can do, because it's debilitating. And I think shame is just something that a lot of us have not been taught how to deal with.
Yeah.
Like that's why I have spent like almost my life reading about all of these things, because I wanted to know, like, where's my baseline supposed to be? And I think, having compassion for yourself, like, if you can't, not having, so here's a prime example that I know that everybody can relate to: FOMO.
Oh, yes.
Like,
did a whole video on FOMO.
Literally.
Yes,
I think I remember that.
Yes,
and it's just like, so people shame if you need to stay home.
Stay your ass
Because your
home.
social meter is ran out. And I tell you what, there's been the times, and I actually been like getting out more.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I know when I need to decompress.
Yep.
And I had to learn to tell myself, like,
Yep.
I can't be there.
Yep.
I
wanna be there.
And I want to be there. But like, my people will still be my people. People will understand. We are adults now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, Sam, like, I'll literally say, Sam, come on. You know what you need.
Be for real.
You want to go get real with yourself, but you can't show up as Sam tonight.
Yep.
So it's just like, be cool, chilling, but then you have to be okay with the thoughts in your head and come to terms with that. So giving yourself grace.
Yeah.
And whatever you got to do, like if you need to write in a journal, like I feel guilty, I feel shame, it does not feel good setting this boundary, but I know it's good for me, and it may not feel good right now for me doing this, but in the end I'll feel better because I made that decision. And I put that boundary, or I prioritized that.
I did what was right for me.
Yeah, I did what was right for me. And then that feeling will slowly start to, of the guilt and the shame. It'll slowly, it's CBT, it's cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yep.
Like you're rewiring your brain in a sense, and having like the mind body like connection really. It's just learning how to like A, B, and C, like noticing when you're doing it, like pausing, deciding what you do with that, and then, being proactive to, rewire that. Mm-hmm. So it's just a process that people just have to start doing over and over. And when, reward yourself, give yourself a clap or something, like,
go me.
Like if you told yourself, well, I like even working out.
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
I used to be a crazy workoutaholic, and, that's why I had to get yoga in the mix, because what I saw as a child with working out with my mom was not healthy. Mm-hmm. So I had to start telling myself and start eating carbs again, because I just about would eat no carbs in high school. And it's because of what I saw, like how I was conditioned. So then I would start to feel guilty when I would want to indulge in something. So rewiring all of that, it takes time. So just give yourself some credit, give yourself a moment if you need it, and just know that, again, we are a human being.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed overnight.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, laugh at it sometimes. I lose myself. Some of the stuff that has come out of my mouth, I'm like, I almost wish I caught this on camera, because I could then laugh at myself. But in that moment, you're so just defeating. What's it going to do for you, honestly?
Nothing.
It's not, you're painting that negative narrative that your brain wants you to do, because the brain automatically picks up the negative thoughts first.
It does. Yeah.
Automatically. So you got to work at it. And it's just just start doing it, honestly. Being proactive for yourself, because a lot of people wish that they had the ability to even sit in a chair and speak in a microphone, and have the ability to use one hand to even eat.
Yeah.
Or just to get
up and walk.
Not even, to sound like cliche or anything.
No, it's so true.
Because I am so grateful for the body that I was given and the temperament that I was given, because if I would have, if without the temperament and that I have, I don't know if I would have turned out to be the way that I have turned out to be. So it's just a lot of the time I did not want to do the work. I did not want to do the self-work, but I just didn't let my brain hold on to that crap.
That negativity.
Yeah, I just kept going, even when like it stunk and I didn't want to do it. And I'm still doing the work.
Yep.
Like I take therapy. Don't mean I like it all the time. But I mean, I go, like, it makes me a better mate, and then my brain stays fully in my head.
Yeah.
So,
which is major.
Yeah, for real. Because life is it's not easy at all.
No, it's not.
So, we live a silly goose life. Even though I've been talking so serious this entire time.
Some of the silliest gooses you ever meet.
Yeah.
So
Silly goose in this thing.
Yeah, go birds. I wonder how they're doing right now, actually.
oh shit, yeah.
If they're crap in the bed,
I want to
shit in the bed right now.
I want to check, but I'm like, oh, this might not be good. So
I mean, come on, have faith. You gotta.
Yeah, let's see.
You commented on their post today. I was like,
we
got
need this.
it.
We need this. So they're down 24. They're down to 3-24. So we'll just throw that back in there. Anything else that you want to say to round out those two topics before we get into the closing statements?
Honestly, no, not really. I feel like I talk a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're still listening, thank you.
If you're still here, I know they're definitely still listening. And I definitely appreciate it. I'm doing more. I'm being mindful. I'm trying to let my guests talk more, because there's sometimes I just be like, yeah, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? And I'm trying to just, be mindful and soak up all the game that you're giving. Because I do think, it's these type of episodes. Like, we get on here, we talk about pro wrestling and Spider-Man and R&B music, and that's fine.
We can do that, no time.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, that's the next episode. But I also think these ones and the ones about boundaries and the ones about parenting, they're so important, because I feel like there's so much fodder out there. There's so much negative stuff people want to talk about, and I think these are conversations that we need to be having. I will never stop advocating for better just mental awareness, mental health, mental whatever you want to call it, because I want something that everyone can learn from, and two, I think it needs to be the norm. I think that needs to be normalized.
And
so
you get in touch with your actual identity,
who you really are,
like who you actually are, not who you have been told to be.
Yes, not who you think you are on social media, not who people think you are, like who you really are. Yeah, for sure. Any closings to anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug? Any books? Anything at all? This is the time to do it.
Well, the one book that pops in my head, honestly, it's just a short book. It's called The Four Agreements.
Yes.
I wish I remember the author off the top of my head right now, but I've been talking so much that I just don't.
I'll put his name down here somewhere.
But just look up The Four Agreements.
Just look it up.
It'll come up.
Yeah, it's a book.
It's basically on like how, like, just ways to live your life, like like being an integrous person. So always keep your word, like be a man of your word. Don't take anything personal. Always do your best, and don't make assumptions.
Well, I like those.
Don't make assumptions. Yeah. So
I agree with the Four Agreements. I love it.
Great. He agrees.
And anybody else you want? You shout out a lot of people too. So anybody else you want to plug real quick? You put your Instagram if you want to.
Oh, Sam Fox Flow is my Instagram.
Follow her.
Like Sam, like Fox the animal.
Yeah.
Flow, like flowing with the going, but just the flow.
It's great. It was a pleasure having you. I appreciate you for coming in and dropping some gems. I appreciate y'all for listening. This has been another amazing episode of Closet Content. So stay tuned for more amazing and positive stuff. And make sure y'all follow Sam at Sam Fox Flow. And make sure y'all go and do something for yourselves. Be mindful. Don't judge others. And just
don't judge yourself either.
Thank you. Don't judge yourself either. That I think we'll end on that. So you guys take care. Be safe. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.